Hi, everybody. I'm Alan Byrd with Real Broker down here on the Forgotten Coast. And today we have Linda Stratton with Fairway Mortgage, correct?
Correct.
And I've known Linda for some time. My wife and I sold her and her husband a home here on the Apalachicola Bay, which we have been jealous of ever since they moved in. So I want to go ahead and get that out there. But today we were going to talk about uh, a loan program that's been around for a while, but not many people know about it. It's called debt service coverage ratio. That's probably one reason why not many people have heard about it because it has such a obscure technical name. They need to come up with a more sexy name for it, and I think then people will probably buy into it. So, but give us a little insight into what the debt service coverage ratio loan is and who is it really directed at?
For many years, all the different loans, they were not directed for investors. This is the first one that's really directed for investors. It gives investors a way to not have to use their own personal income to qualify for a house, but use the income of the house. How cool is that?
Yeah, that
I
is
mean, how
cool.
many times does somebody own a house that they rent? They make lots of money on it, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I want another house." Well, they can refinance that house if they own it free and clear, or even if they owe a little bit on it, take money out of it to buy their second investment home. And they can just use the rental of what that next home is that they're buying in order to qualify. And you don't have to look at their income or anything. Now, we do look at credit, but not income.
So
That's
what is
pretty
the
amazing
what?
to me.
So what's the credit requirement there?
You can go as low as 640, but
Hmm.
some of the ones, like if you do a cash out refi, it's up to 760.
So does that affect maybe
The
their
rate?
their loan to
Yes.
value or something like that? They may
Yeah,
have to bring more to
it
the
affects how
table
much
if
they
they
can
have a
borrow,
lower.
exactly. It affects how much they can borrow. It affects their rates and so forth.
So so they don't have to bring a pay. They don't have to bring a pay stub. They don't have to
No,
bring a
we don't want
W
to see it.
two. Um,
No tax returns. If they're
no,
self-employed, no tax returns, no W-2s, no pay stubs. We're not looking at their income at all. We're looking,
well, I really like it because I mean, because I can see that for some investors that maybe have got themselves leveraged quite a bit with a
Mhm.
couple of properties, and then they're like, oh well, here's this beautiful piece of property over here. I know it's going to give me a great return, but I don't have the cash to be able to put down. That allows them, in essence, to get that money out of their existing equity in their properties to then be able to use that as a down payment without, tripping that debt to income ratio flag that a lot of us fear when we start to try, when we get into that type of investment.
well, and the only thing you have to worry about is that house is income producing. Okay. So you look at a lot of the houses down here are short-term rentals. Okay.
Right.
So what you look at is you look at what they have made the last year on that house, and you use that divided by 12 to figure out what their DSCR, debt service, I can't ever, coverage ratio is.
Yeah, that.
And you figure that out versus what the new payment will be, and that's how it's calculated by. Now, if you were buying a new construction house, then you go by what the appraiser says, because the appraiser would look at the houses around it, what they're making in rent, and use that to calculate it.
So how would an appraiser be able to determine what, I know how they use the comps, the recent sales and to develop the comps to be able to come up with the value of a home, but how would they do that with regards to the rental income if there's no historical rental income on that
Because
property
of the
itself?
houses around it and what's going on around it. They do a schedule of rents and leases. So the appraisal cost a little bit more because they're
Hmm.
having to do that to give you an idea about what the rent would be on it.
Okay, cool. That's okay. All right, right
Now,
here is
if
where I
it were
may.
somebody that was renting a house full time and it wasn't like a Airbnb, a VRB, or like on the island where a lot of people just rent them for a few nights or a week at a time, then you
Mhm.
could use a copy of the lease of what they're currently leasing it for or what they're going to be leasing it for. And then you still make sure that that lease is what the appraiser thinks is a fair and reasonable rent for the area.
And so that value, what we're talking about, that debt service coverage ratio, that's where you take what we call the NOI or the net operating income for the year on a home, which is all the expenses that take to, that are encumbered into that home minus the debt service amount. And then you
divided by,
divide that by that debt service amount for the
right,
year to come up with that ratio. So
correct.
how low can that ratio
A
be?
lot of the lenders will not go lower than like 0.75%.
Well, that's
There
pretty
are some
good.
that won't go below 0.8.
Yeah.
But in this area, I really can't imagine being below 1%.
So who
I
are the
mean, the kind of
ideal,
rentals that you have, I
yeah,
just can't imagine having a problem with that.
who are the ideal candidates for a loan like this? Who can qualify?
An investor. You could even be a first-time buyer as an investor, okay? But you are going to have to put money down. Most of them require about 30% down. Now, let me tell you something really cool about these loans. Do you know that there's even a 40-year loan on these? Yeah, you
Really?
can do a 40-year loan on these on some of the investors, and you can also do interest-only payments where you don't even have a full PITI payment.
Wow.
So there's a lot of flexibility. Now, sometimes you're going to have a little bit more closing costs and things like that, but with what you're getting and what you're going to be able to make on the house, it's all worth it.
So this isn't just for like short-term rental second homes like our market down here on the Forgotten Coast, but it's also
Well,
long-term
you can
lease.
only buy it if it is an investment property. If it were a second home, you cannot do the type loan. It's only for investors and it's only for investment properties.
Okay. All
Now,
right.
whether they're seasoned investors or whether they're first time investors, they kind of look at that, but it can be done for first time also.
Okay. Well, good. I mean, that I'm excited about the program. I think I may have to give you a call later on because,
Oh, you know, my phone's always available for you. But you know, and yesterday I was looking up rates for them.
Mhm.
I was able to get the guy that I was working with yesterday 7.375, which for investment properties not bad right now,
Right.
and he was paying less than 2 points.
Wow.
And then I had someone quote me last night for 6.75, but I don't even want to ask what the points were on that.
Wow.
So you have to be really careful. What am I paying for this and how long am I going to keep it and is it worth it?
Yeah.
And
Well,
some of
good.
these investors also will have prepayment penalties on them. But they may only be for 1 or 2 years, but you get a much better rate. So if you're
Yeah.
planning on keeping it for 5 years, why not have that and get the much better rate? It's going to save you money and let you make more money in the long run.
Well, that's great. Linda, I appreciate the time. Um,
Anytime.
And if anybody is interested in such a loan product or interested in real estate down here along our area, I'm going to have all the information in our show notes. Probably have a transcription of this conversation. And if you need to reach out to either Linda or myself, just drop a note down in the comments. Also, if you find this interesting or know somebody else who would be interested in this, please share this video out to them. And we hope that you have a great day to talk to you later. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.